What's up everybody, and welcome back. Today, I have another Yandere recommendation for you. If you read the title, you obviously already know that, but if you haven't, and you just randomly clicked on this, well, welcome. Hopefully you like the video, and subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 1,000, and that would be fantastic if you helped us get there. So today I'm recommending my Yandere girlfriend lurks in the dungeon and kills me over and over again. And that is no exaggeration to what this manga is about, except for the girlfriend part, but we'll get there. So the authors of this manga are Kitagawa Nikita and Nomura Eiji. So far it's only 13 chapters, and it's an action, adventure, drama, fantasy, harem, romance, seinen, supernatural, and tragedy. There should be a lot of emphasis on tragedy. There shouldn't be a lot on harem, especially because they are yanderes, and yanderes, they don't do harems, right? The whole thing that makes them a yandere is that you belong to them. And if you get involved with anybody else or look at any other girl, either the girl dies or you get imprisoned or you die. There's not a lot of options there. So harem, I just don't think it works with the whole concept of this manga. So this manga follows Kiska, who is the MC obviously, and he is an ALK. At least I think that's how you say it. I don't know, it's ALK. Regardless, what it means is that he has white hair and everybody hates him because apparently there was some war between humans and demons or whatever, and some guy with white hair sided with the demons, so now everybody hates anybody with white hair, I guess. We don't know why he has white hair, don't know about his family or his parents, he just has white hair, so he's hated by everybody. The only person that doesn't hate him is Namiya, who is his childhood friend. She actually loves him, but that doesn't work out because she's set to be married off to the village chief's son, who is Kiska's main antagonist, at least for the beginning. But Kiska and Namiya meet up one night, she tells him this, he pretends to be happy, and she's like, do you want to run away together and elope because I love you? And obviously he's like, yeah, that sounds much better than me getting beat up and everybody hating me here. Let's just get together, run away, start a life, I guess, in a forest somewhere. I don't know. That also doesn't happen because, again, this is tragedy. And again, emphasis on tragedy, because the night they're supposed to run away together, the village chief's son, whose name I don't remember, him and his friends go to attack Namiya. You can fill in the dots or just look at the photos. They go to attack her. Kiska shows up to try and protect her. Kiska gets the crap beat out of him again, and Namiya gets killed. That then gets put on Kiska, who is then sentenced to death by being thrown into the dungeon labyrinth that I guess is just in this town. I don't know. It's like an S-rank dungeon, and there's a teleportation circle that those who are sentenced to death get teleported seemingly to the depths of that dungeon so that they just get murdered by monsters. So Kiska's there now, and he's about to get killed, and then a girl appears to him when he's asking for somebody to save him, and she gives him the ability to save and reset. And you would think, okay, well, that's a pretty good ability. And it is, don't get me wrong, it's a good ability because you're basically immortal, except it doesn't seem like he knows how to save and or reset. So he gets killed, and he gets reset right before he gets killed. So he gets killed again. And this keeps happening a lot of times, hundreds of times, okay? He's in this loop. It's like in games where the autosave gets you stuck right where you're gonna die, right before you die, except he has no way out of it. He does contemplate turning the skill off and letting himself just be killed, but his hatred for everything that happened to him and his desire for revenge keeps him going, and it keeps him from turning off the skill, so he just keeps dying until he figures out a way to not die, at least in that area. Because again, this is like an S-rank dungeon. Kiska was a farmer, he doesn't know how to fight, so even though he survives the initial situation, he runs into another one where he dies again and again and again. This is a tragedy through and through, because even when he starts figuring out the dungeon, how to get around things, how to escape from enemies, even when he gets some crystal which allows him to choose skills from S rank to, I guess, whatever the worst is, or he still dies a whole lot. I mean, he chooses his skills, he's able to get out of the situation in which he finds that crystal that allows him to get those skills. He survives that after like 5 500 times of dying or something, only to be met with a 3-way split choice of teleportation things that take him to different areas of the dungeon. Some better than others, but the first one he chooses takes him to one of the FMCs in this, which is a Geha, and she introduces herself as an ex-hero who was from a different world. So it seems like she was isekai'd into the world, I guess years ago, hundreds of years ago, whatever, and they trapped her in this dungeon. Why? Well, you find out pretty quickly, because even though they travel together for a little bit, and when I mean a little bit, I mean like maybe 2 chapters, she proves herself to be a Yandere. So even though she's in love with him, she makes a very bold advance on him. He rejects her, and he rejects her because he was still in love with Namiya, and because he's like kind of tortured at everything that has happened, because realistically it's been basically 1 day since Namiya got killed. He's been sentenced to this thing, and he's died hundreds of times. I mean, he's died thousands of times at this point already, so he's a little bit tortured by that. So he rejects her. So what does she do? Well, you can infer yourself what she does. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And he winds up getting killed again. But since she was his best hope at being able to get out, obviously he gets killed, resets, goes, finds her again to try and, not have what happened happen, only to find out that she doesn't know who he is, because apparently she has a split personality as well. And that split personality ends up killing him again. So why not the other 2 paths, He takes another path, finds the vampire that's living there. What does she do? That's right, she kills him. Takes another path. What does he find? He finds the parasite sword, which does give him a lot of strength, but it also leads to him dying. And I know that this may sound repetitive. It may sound like a manga where, okay, this kid just dies infinitely over and over again. And in some ways it is. What's nice about it is it feels kind of realistic to how a person would have to figure out how to survive and how to get through this, because he does end up surviving for much longer periods of time, which are then undone by a Geha because he got a little too close to Judith the vampire. And again, a Geha's a Yandere, so she didn't like that, so she just killed both of them, made him reset again. But because of all of his resets, he's learning more and more about the dungeon and more about things that he can do to survive on his own. Will he be able to? I don't know, but I'm enjoying it so far, mostly because I am a fan, not just of yanderes, I am a fan of revenge stories, and the whole thing motivating and driving this guy is to get back to that village, right? To get through this dungeon, get back to the village, and basically just kill everybody in the village. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I hope so. I hope this isn't one of those that's so long just for the 1 chapter payoff where he finally gets out and gets his revenge, or he gets out and then he chooses not to get revenge. Be a little upset by that because he's been through so much already. I think he deserves a little revenge, but at the same time, I'm a little worried, mostly because some things are a little repetitive. And I'm not just saying, because he has to die and redo things, but because there were advancements in his progress for the last few chapters that just got undone by a Geha, just in 1 second. And it put him back to not his first save and reset, but his second one, which was a while ago. But I'm hoping now, because they did do a time skip where he was with Judith for some time learning and whatnot, I'm hoping that all of that information, all the stuff that he learned, we're able to advance to at least a new save and reset point. Because when you do stories like this that give characters these save and reset things, obviously the arcs, or at least what feels like the chapters to me, are set by those save and reset points. And we've been at the same save and reset point, I don't want to say the entire time, because we've had 2, and again, it's only 13 chapters. It's not like we're really deep into this yet, but I want him to get to a new save and reset point. So it feels like we've made some progress. But at the same time, I think that's one of the best parts about this manga. It's how it's written so that you feel also as a reader what was the point? We lost so much time. We got set back so much. While at the same time allowing you to feel hopeful like Kiska at, well, we know a lot more now. So moving forward, at least up to a certain point is going to be much simpler and much easier. So I'm enjoying this manga. I think it's a great, dark, tragedy, revenge story that I'm hoping is only gonna get better. But I'm hoping also, at least in the next, we're at chapter 13. I'm hoping by 18, we have a new save and reset point, and we've made some advancements past the level that Kiska has been on since the beginning. So if you're a fan of Yandere, if you're a fan of a lot of dark and killing and crazy, I know the art style isn't the best, but I feel like that's something that you can get over for at least the feeling and the atmosphere of this manga, because that's another thing that it does so well, is that the twisted nature of at least some of the art style really plays into how it would feel, I guess, in part, to be trapped in some dungeon where you're saving and resetting over and over again to try and get out and get your revenge. But if it seems like something you would enjoy, check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out our other videos, and subscribe to the podcast. Other than that, I'll see all of you in the next one.